Real men do not sit down to take a pee. Or do they? One of the main symptoms that I had for years when I was struggling with chronic pelvic pain were urinary symptoms. In particular, I had burning with urination. That continued on for a couple years. Burning after urination, sometimes that would happen for half an hour or even hours after I would void. So it was just really frustrating. The nerves of the urethra were very sensitive, and oftentimes I would feel like I didn't completely void, and I would have to go back and urinate again and again and again, but it would just be like a slight trickle. It wouldn't be a full release, and that would be extremely painful. So one of the techniques that was very helpful for me was to really just change the way that I was urinating. I noticed that I was always so tight and clenched, and I would kind of suck in my gut. That was probably like a self-conscious thing that I did for years or even decades without even realizing it. So I let that go totally. Now when I urinate, I just release it all. I create like this big balloon belly, almost like a Buddha belly, right? Or almost pretending that I'm pregnant. And it just really allows the pelvic floor to drop. Another technique that I used, which has really helped, is that feeling of not being able to void completely. Sometimes I would get that because when you're standing to urinate, the final stretch of that urination might just be a dribble, and then what you're doing is you're clenching up, right? You're clenching your sphincter to try to close it down so you're not dribbling all over and making a mess, right? That's natural. So what I've found, and I actually discussed this with the physician and he also recommended it, is that it just feels sometimes a lot easier to release everything when you're actually sitting down to urinate. I know there's a huge stigma with that because women are supposed to be the only ones that sit down to urinate, but who cares? If you're in pain and you're getting relief that way, just go for it, right? And what I found is that if I was having a flare-up, or if I was feeling that things were super sensitive down there, or if I had anxiety around not being able to void all the urine out of the bladder, I found that sitting down made it easier, made myself more relaxed, made it feel like all of the urine was able to get out, gravity did its job, didn't have to worry about any dripping, and then when I'm done, right? So if you're someone that is struggling with that, or maybe if you're out in a public place or a restaurant or something like that, and you have anxiety because you don't want to be rushed, right? Sometimes we might be at a restaurant or a sporting event at a urinal as a man, and there's people waiting behind us. There's nothing more nerve-wracking than that when you have urinary issues and pelvic pain issues.